Hey, 8th grade. Today we're going to continue on in Chapter 11 with Lesson 7, Mixed Expressions and Complex Fractions. We're going to be doing more of the same. Okay? If we start with our first example, let's say we have 2 over n plus 4. So what we already know is we need a common denominator when we have fractions. Okay? So we need to multiply this 4 by n over n. And that gives us 4n over n, which means we can now combine them to 2 plus 4n over n. Right, so we have to multiply by our fraction equal to 1 in order to get the common denominator. Let's try one. For you guys, I'd like you to do one similar. R plus 1 over 3r. Go ahead and pause it. Your answer should be 3r squared plus 1 over 3r. Let's try another one. 6 plus 5 over t plus 1. Since the second fraction now has a denominator, but the numerator doesn't, we're going to multiply this by a fraction equal to 1, t plus 1 over t plus 1. When we do that, we get 6 times t plus 1, which is 6t plus 6, and plus 5, right? All over t plus 1. When we combine our t's and our numbers, we're left with a final answer of 6t plus 11 over t plus 1. How about you try one? Let's say you have x plus 7 over 2x minus 5x. Go ahead and try that one. Pause it if you need to. The answer is negative 10x squared plus x plus 7 over 2x. How'd you do on that one? Good, I hope. Let's continue. Now, back in 5th or 6th grade, we divided fractions. Mixed number fractions, right? So another way to write this, which I like to just convert it because it's easier for me, is the first whatever you have over the second whatever you have, right? It means the same thing. This line means divided by. And when you have these, you have to make them improper. So we would do 2 times 3 plus 1 to get 7/3. And then we would do the same for our second. 5 times 1 plus 2 is 7/5. And then, because it's dividing fractions, we change the second fraction, right? Copy, change, change. I'm not sure what you guys learned, if you had any tricky sayings, but you change the division to multiplication and you find the reciprocal. Okay, these two have to flip. So we get 5 over 7. In this case, our 7's cancel out, and we're left with 5 over 3, which is 1 2/3 simplified. Let's see if you guys remember that. For yours, why don't you try 4/5 divided by 6 2/3. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. Your answer should be 3/25. All right, let's keep moving. Here's our next one. A squared over b cubed divided by b to the 5th over a. We actually did problems like this earlier in the year. A squared over b cubed divided by b to the 5th over a means I need to flip my second fraction. So I'm going to get a squared over b cubed times a over b to the fifth. And when we multiply variables that have the same base, we add the exponents. So for a, I have a total of 3 a's, right? And on the bottom for b, I have a total of 8. So my final answer is a cubed over b to the 8th. Okay, for a U try. I forget where I was. Here we go. Y to the 4th over x squared divided by xy squared over 2x squared. Go ahead and pause it. Try to solve. Your answer should be 2y squared over x. Double check it if you need to. We're going to do another one like that, this time with a little more going on. So we've got 6 over x minus 2, and it's divided by 3 over x squared minus x minus 2. So we have been working on common denominators, right? And then adding and subtracting. So today we're working on multiplying, some addition, right, to help us remember, but mostly multiplying and dividing. So we've got a trinomial here, so I know I'm going to need to simplify that, and also I need to flip the fraction. So this first one's going to stay the same, 6 over x minus 2 times, and then on the top, I'm going to kind of do 2 steps in 1. I'm getting a negative 2 and a negative 1 when we combine. So that means I'm going to need a negative 2 and a positive 1, because when I multiply them, I get a negative, and when I add them, I still get a negative. And now I see that I have x minus 2 on the bottom and the top, so they can be canceled. I also have 3 and 6, which can be canceled. When I multiply across, on the top, I get 2 times x plus 1, and on the bottom, I have just a 1, which I don't need to show. It won't be wrong if you do. Put it over 1. It's just not necessary. All right, let's try one more like this, and then you can do a U try. Here we go. Let's say, make sure I'm still on there. Yeah. We've got 2 plus x, or q, excuse me, on top, and then q squared minus 4 on the bottom, divided by q plus 4 on the top, q squared minus 6q plus 8 on the bottom. So I've got a trinomial here, and then over here I notice I have a difference of squares, right? There's no middle, there's no just q. It goes from squared to the number. So that means both of these can be factored. So I'm going to get 2 plus q, the top's going to stay the same, and on the bottom I'm going to get q plus 2, q plus 2, and q minus 2, right, to get negative 4. And then the q's would cancel out because I would have positive 2q and negative 2q. And then I'm going to multiply that, and I'm going to do, again, two things in one. So the trinomial is going to go to the top, and this q plus 4 is going to go to the bottom. So now how am I going to get 8, a positive 8 when I multiply, and negative 6 when I add? So q minus 4 and q minus 2. When I multiply them, I get negative 4 and negative 2, which is negative 6, and when I add them, I get that, and when I multiply, I get positive 8. So now I'm going to check to see about canceling. Q minus 4 and q plus 4, those are not exactly the same, so they cannot be. Up here, I have q and 2. They're both positive, so that can be written either way. So if there's a negative, it matters, but if it's positive, they're the same. So these can be canceled out. This is equal to 1. And then I have q minus 2 and q minus 2 over here. So those also cancel out. And so I'm left with a q minus 4 over q plus 4 as my final answer. All right, you guys. We've got 2 more, and they're for you. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. I'm gonna read them out loud, and I want you to give them a good try, okay? I did solve these ones, so I'll show you how to do them, but I want you to be comparing your work to my work. So the first one, r plus s over x squared minus y squared divided by r plus s squared over x minus y. The next one, if you want to write it down and then go back and solve, is p plus 3 over p squared plus p minus 6 divided by, and then this time we have 2 trinomials, so both of these need to be factored. P squared plus 4p plus 3 over p squared plus 6p plus 9. So again, go ahead and solve these. Take the time to do them both. And then come back and compare answers. For the first one and the second one, take a look at my work and compare. Your homework, once you finish, is on page 723. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will be on at 2:15 for any that want to check in or need some help. Good luck.